Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we'll be checking out some more tracks by an act named Clay Joule. And first of all, we've got Into the Sky by Jenny and Clay, and if we switch over to here, I believe we do have vocalist Jenny and Clay. Also Enzo Morcia on Spanish guitar, and Tom Ferreira on the clarinet. I've been asked to check out a few of these tracks today, so this will be the first, and we might have a look at some stuff on Clay's Spotify. But we're going to get through it, Into the Sky first. The song Into the Sky was written for anyone with some sort of mental distress and seeking a relief from the mental turmoil. So we're going to listen through this track from start to finish along with the others and hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, that's a hell of a bass response in it from Jenny and Clay from True One Studio. True One Studio. Okay, the guitar work is pretty sensational off the bat. Nice dynamic range to the... Phenomenal. Really intense reverb chain we've got going on with those vocals there. An airiness to it, a cloudiness, It's kind of overwhelming, isn't it? It's a little bit overwhelming, a little bit mystical. Okay, there's a little bit of a... It's quite... Do you hear that kind of sizzle there? I mean, that the recording itself was a little bit hot on the input chain. That's okay. At least I think that's what it means. Like with those hand drums, the combination of that, plus the guitar and the two different vocalists and the clarinet, there's a lot of fun, interesting textures here. It's almost avant-garde, isn't it? It's kind of jazzy, kind of experimental sounding. A little bit abstract, but I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all, really. It's good to have difference, good to have change. The technique coming in from that clarinet player is pretty... It's incredibly impressive, That kind of kaleidoscope effect going on here with the people in the background is fascinating, dude. It's fascinating. It's a great group performance, It's nice to be able to see the different musicians that are involved in this release. From a musical perspective, it makes me wonder how they decided to come up with these different instrument melodic motifs here, or these different scale sections. Are they improvising? Was there more of a structure here? Are they taking turns filling in the space as a uniform? I mean, like I can tell we're going away from telling the story at this point. But you know what I mean? That allows more space for other lead elements to come in. I know what the little ding means. I'm not quite sure what the little ding means, Is this meant to be kind of like flying into the sky, preparing to be able to do that? I heard her say never looking back. It's kind of a trippy psychedelic experience that I'm having here. It does kind of sound like someone who's going through stuff internally within their skull and they're really struggling to get away from it and they just want an escape. They want to fly away from it. I get it. It's an interesting vibe there. I think that having that jazzy kind of flamenco vibe to it with these classical nylon guitars, and then the interesting alternative voicing to what Jenny is doing, what Clay is doing, is great. Great. I mean, it's a very interesting, articulate way of approaching it. There's always a sense of tension within it, but at the same time, the reverb change and everything like that on top of everything else, it kind of makes me think that how do I say this? Maybe I'm thinking too much about it. I'll go into my thoughts near the end of the video. But it sounds like there is a sense of anguish. You know, there's a sense of anguish about it, a sense of foreboding and trepidation with their current mental state. And I hope everyone involved in this, whether the source and inspiration material came from something more organic to them or not, I hope they're all doing well. There's actually a few other tracks in here as well. That I can see here. There's a few other videos. You might have a look through them as well. I can see We Are Together here. We'll have a listen through this. Have a listen through We Are Together. Hang on, have a quick look through here. Musicians Alex Guzinski, Clay Joule, Henry Rios, singer and songwriter Clay Joule, released in March. Cool. Let's continue. When We Are Together. Oh, a little bit more funky. Interesting groove to it, dude. This guitar work is mixed well. It's nice and bright, man. The drums are EQ'd in a way that is interesting. I was expecting more of a slap from those kicks. Again, the guitar lines are so busy. The vocals are a little more laid back. The drums have a nice groove to them, coping well with the hi-hats. It's a really pretty harmony that we've got here going on with these guitar parts. I like how starry sounding that lead line is on top. And the slides and bends as well add a little bit of humanity to it. The bass follows that, you know, the bass follows that the root notes really well. What language is this? It has that kind of classic rock vibe to it from the 70s with the way that the bass, guitar, and kicks sound. The vocals sound a little bit more contemporary with the effects change on it, with the clarity of the EQing. Shit more sounds of the 80s, don't they? I think in the 80s are what music is in 2020s, you know what I mean? Getting married if you want, that's what Daddy says. I like the turtle though. The turtle's a good touch. I'm genuine, I love turtles, they're my favorite animal, you know. This is probably one of my favorite parts of what I've heard from Clay Joule in general there. Just that little section where you had sort of the synths and the guitar parts and the ride cymbals being accented on the bells. It was just so charming. There's something really pretty about the way everything flowed together there. It wasn't something we'd really heard before within the song, and I like that point of difference.
Temporary.
The drum parts are fantastic. These chops and grooves and fills that we have are fantastic. They had a specificity, a characterization to the arrangement that makes it memorable. If we just stuck with the typical 8th note kick snare kind of groove, it would have been forgettable, but we knew to not sleep on the rhythmic elements. Did he record those guitar parts with the video and then or did he record the solo and then try and play along to it? Yeah, I think it's fine. It's just there's a little bit of lag in these headphones because they're Bluetooth ones, so that's why I was kind of like, is that in sync? Oh, this is kind of like the Oh Dream song where we have the Unity standing with Ukraine kind of thing, right? Like, because that kind of reminds me of the Ukraine flag. Ukraine flag. I could be wrong though. You know, let me know if I'm completely off base. Interesting choice though, using a 6-string bass when we're rolling with the root notes equivalent to a 4-string bass. But I like it. It's a really dope bass here. Wonder if the guy does like other genres outside of this. It was a tasteful guitar solo, you know. We could have easily overplayed, especially on a fancy guitar like that. You can tell just by looking at it that has a very thin neck, you know. Very easy to maneuver fretboard. Yeah, charming stuff. Yeah, really tasteful. Great chemistry between the band members. I mean, I like the range that the vocalist is in, and I know why he's in that upper range close to his head voice. He's hitting those notes well. I don't know if he could go there much higher than that without having to go into falsetto. I'm just glad that there's a little bit of that chest in there just to give it a bit of extra oomph, you know? Yeah, you couldn't have gone down an octave. I think there was just too much with those guitars in the mids to really to make that work. So good, smart decision there. That's how life goes. I mean, that's cool in the sense that I appreciate what we've done with that song, you know? We Are Together. Good job. I dig that. I mean, like, if we were to sort of talk about the song briefly before we go to the final track for today, what I enjoyed about We Are Together, the story-wise, I think it was about someone having a connection with person B. And I know that when they're together apart, they still want to be remembered by them. And it's keeping that connection strong and associating their memories positively and appreciating the chance the fact that they even were next to each other in the first place. Keeping that as the most important thing to consider. I think it's beautiful. The music sounded very caring. The instrument performances were competent. Great to feature these individual musicians to give them some time to shine as well. It's disappointing for me personally when there's a video and I don't see someone doing the lead instrument, you know, especially if they're features. But that's cool. That's cool. I think we'll go with Nothing Like Loving You for the last track of today. Nothing Like Loving You. Pete Brayley, Clay Joule, and Amadei Sarsansky. Pet adoption rocks, which it does. If you can adopt a pet, would thoroughly recommend that you do. They're amazing creatures. We have 2 cats and a, hang on. I was just tripping for a minute. I'll go back a little bit. I thought that I'd already heard the song before. I was having a moment. Oh, banjo! Good combination of the drums, guitar, and banjo here. Those instruments texturally sit well with each other. And the bass as well on the bottom is nice and round. I think at this point we're fairly satisfied with the drum tone that we have here. It's been consistent across a few. I don't think it's a bad drum tone. Don't get me wrong, man. You know what? Honestly, I think that a lot of people try and get the perfect drum tone and they kill their performance because of that, or they kill the sound of their music because of that. Because a lot of the time people misunderstand the perfect drum tone to be one that they've heard before and they liked. No, the perfect drum tone is the one that suits your track. So good on Clay Joule, man. It's cool.
Taking the chance of my life, you are my road.
This is a nice way to finish a shift day.
The only human I love, my passion and devotion.
I think to not be biased by the fact that I'm seeing cute, adorable little puppies and stuff like that. What I like about this track is how gently Clay Joule is singing in this, but also you have a situation here where, you know, when I listen to this track, I can see, I can hear a really catchy banjo melodic motif there. That's what this song is sort of centered around. The guitar and bass and drums are working so well with each other, nice and bright and punchy. Okay, the banjo was a little busy then, but that's fine. Again, like, I'm paying attention to the lyrics, but I'm also listening to the banjo because you've got two different lead elements that are kind of inviting me to hear them out at the same time. Because there is change in the banjo melody line, and because that's what we started with, my brain is priming the interest in that despite the vocals, where the vocals are also telling a story. Typically, if you want to have an instrumental melody go alongside the vocals, especially in a hook, you need that to remain the same. You don't change it too much. Maybe you change the first note to match the root note of the bass line or the chord progression, but outside of that you need it to remain consistent so that the brain switches off from that and focuses purely on the story. Nicer offbeat. That makes sense. Hey man, that's the thing with dogs, they're naturally smelly creatures, but that's the smell of love. That is the smell of love. I like these lyrics. What I love about, and I know I shouldn't be, actually, I'm being told to look at YouTube videos, man. I keep saying I shouldn't do that. I'm reviewing the track and I'm being shown a video. This is the video for the song, and they've got puppies in there. So I'm more than okay to talk about the fact that there are cute puppies in here. What am I doing, dude? I love dogs for the fact that they'll just sit under the covers and they'll just vibe with kids. Dogs are such cool creatures, man. That's such a... because you can't teach a dog to do that. I mean, maybe you can, but... a lot of dogs will just naturally just be totally down for that, you know? It's a big dog, though. But then, to be fair, I'm getting distracted from what's happening here. We've had a similar motif with the banjos. Going back to that offbeat valve thing on the drums. Got a bit of a guitar solo going on here that's nicely mixed into the center of the stereo field without too much interference from the other elements of the arrangement, composition. Bum 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 bum. For every Christmas. For every Christmas. When was the song released, dude? When was the song released? Oh, it was released in March. That's okay. I mean, to be fair, I would want my pets to be with me every Christmas because Christmas is a great time to be around family.
But I can't help myself.
Great choice having this extra verse after that solo section. It, you know, like having that solo interlude section is a great way to elongate or justify an elongation of a musical piece.
Nothing like loving you. 我有一只心爱小狗 Nothing like loving you. 我有一只心爱小狗
Are we speaking in like a different language? Like my brain is saying that's like Mandarin or something like that.
Nothing like love.
I could be wrong though. If I am, let me know. It's kind of cool to, I suppose, to branch out in a different language as long as it's pronounced correctly. And I'm not trying to be an elitist here, and I'm also not trying to say I can do it better. I know for a fact that I can't do it better. You know, I've got like thousands of people who speak Mandarin who watch my reviews, and they remind me I need to do more work on it. You know, it's fine. Great triplet fill there on the drums. Okay, so let's have a talk about the tracks that were looked at today, because this has been a bit of an unusual review. I don't usually get given the opportunity to just review the tracks that I want, you know. But welcome to my conclusion, because this is the conclusion of my review of Clay Joule's various tracks. We checked out We Are Together, Nothing Like Loving You, and Into the Sky by Jenny and Clay. The three tracks that we listened to today, the stories of, you know, pet adoption and loving animals, Into the Sky, escaping from emotional and mental psychological turmoil, and We Are Together. Oh, well, it literally says on like the thumbnail, father and son reunion. So yeah, it was father and son. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Like, it makes me really happy when fathers and sons get along. It's fantastic, man. Not everyone gets that. So for those who can make good, that's awesome. You know, it's something to celebrate. These stories are ones which I think it's important to tell. They're smart for the reason, if only, that having a similar approach to your songwriting, the way that you sing, the way you incorporate instruments, and the way you produce stuff, means that you can occasionally have the variable of talking about different topics. And that is a way of creating a career. And that's what I think Clay Joule is doing. You know, 1,000 subscribers, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. We're getting a fair bit of attention for these different tracks, you know, like 5K plays on these big videos. You know, it's cool, man. It's cool. Genuinely well done. So that, you know, the videos are well shot, but I don't typically talk about the videos because I'm not as knowledgeable about video production. What I will say though is that Clay Joule vocals are great. There wasn't a lot of vocal ornamentation or anything like that. I think just because we knew we were trying to sing melodies that were not only catchy but simple and effective, they made sense. And I think Clay knows exactly his strengths as a singer. Working with Jenny in Into the Sky was a great choice as well, because she was a little more articulate in the way she voiced herself there. Great pad vocals with the backing harmonies and interludes and all that kind of stuff, and intervals. It was great. No complaints whatsoever about that. So the vocals were totally on point. We sung within the scales and keys. Recommended. Additional to that, we had a situation with these tracks where not only were the vocals sorted and great chemistry between the dual vocalists, or just Clay Joule was interesting to listen to on his own, especially in the more gentle tracks where his softness of his voice really elevated it. The structuring of the songs is great. You know, each of them had sort of a dedicated interlude or instrumental part. Or, I mean, Into the Sky, Into the Sky had like clarinet parts, and you know, like it was fantastic. No, we had banjo parts, well, banjo motifs and lots of guitar bits, and some of the bass lines were explored over the fretboard and all that. There were interesting drum fills there, triplet stuff in the pace was kept, and it was very competent. As I understand it, Clay Joule is a drummer themselves, so that's fantastic as well. It's great to have that percussion and be able to play along to a click track. You know, interesting musical motifs that were arranged in a way that made sense and matched the topics of, like, again, pet adoption, like loving animals, father and son reunions, and then trying to sort of like make peace with yourself and find an escape from the struggles that you have on a regular basis. The production was pretty solid, not totally sold on the drum tones, just sometimes it was a little bit less bass than I would like with the kicks and stuff like that. But aside from that, the guitar, bass, drums, tones, and everything like that, everything else was fantastic. The vocals, fixed change on the vocals, were absolutely scintillating. Well, it was great for Jenny as well as Clay, and it was great gluing, the effects change, limiting, compression, etc. Fantastic, nice amount of dynamic range to these tracks, and I've got nothing really else negative to say about that. You know, they were nice and loud without pumping, and yeah, well done to Clay on these tracks. It's good to hear a bit more of his discography. I wish him the best of luck in future. But effectively, this is my review of Clay Joule's various tracks. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go and show him some love via his various social medias and his YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need to help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.